And that will actually help us get rid of that 2. Okay, so at the moment, trying to move things left to right, one side we have fractions, one side we have whole numbers. So by multiplying the whole equation through by 2, we get rid of all the fractions. So we just have everything kind of on one level now. Okay, so we're multiplying everything through by 2. What do we have on the left-hand side once we multiply it by 2?
Left hand,
so the 2x. 4x, yeah, perfect. And remember that because we can't just multiply one side of the equation by 2, that's why we have to multiply this side as well. Okay, and then what do we have on the right-hand side? So we have x plus 2 over 2. What does this become once we multiplied it by 2?
3x, okay, x plus 3 equals 3x divided by 2. It's going to be the same.
Yeah, perfect. It's just going to be x plus 3, right? So what we notice is that divided by 2 and multiplied by 2, those two are going to cancel with each other. Okay, so I think this one now we can maybe solve fairly easily.
So,
what do we do now?
What we're going to do is we're going to add 5x. It's going to be 5x because we're going to subtract. It's going to be 3x.
Yeah.
And then when that's 3x, x will be equal to 3x equals to 3. So x will be equal to 1.
Perfect. X equals 1. Great. Well done. I think we're really getting the hang of these especially the more usual ones. I think we're really getting the hang of those, really getting them really quickly, which is great. Okay, so we actually have a pair already. Actually, let's do the pairs at the end, and I think we'll come back to that. Okay, so now let's have a go at D. So we have D equal to 9 times x minus 1 equal to minus 2, 8 minus x.
Okay, so...
And 9x minus 1 equal to minus 2, 8 minus x. Okay, perfect. So now let's have a go at this one here.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract or add because it's subtraction.
Not quite. So before we do that, we can't add them yet because they're in brackets.
Yeah.
So if we want to move things around, we'd have to move the whole bracket around. So how can we maybe make it so we can move x's individually rather than bracket?
The claw.
Yeah, exactly right. We can do crab claw. So we can actually multiply out both sides.
So 9 multiplied by x is going to be 9x.
9x, yeah.
And then 9, and then it's going to be 9. 9 multiplied
by minus 9.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're going to do the other one. 2 multiplied by 8 is going to be equal to 16.
Yeah. Positive. So look at the 2. Is it positive?
Negative 16.
Perfect. Negative 16. Great.
And
then the last one?
It's going to be negative x.
Negative x.
X.
Yeah, so not just x. So it's minus 2 times minus x. What does that give us?
2x. 2x?
Yeah, plus 2x. Okay, so what we have here is because this one is negative 2 and this one is negative x, it becomes positive here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we have a different sign in this one. Okay. So now we have this. Now let's try and move things around. What can we move around?
We're gonna move the 9x, subtract 2x.
Yeah, perfect. We're going to move this guy over. Okay, 9x subtract 2x.
It's going to be 7x.
Yeah, 7x.
7x, and then after we're going to subtract 16, negative 16 by negative 9.
So not negative 9. So if we're moving the 9 over, what happens? Add 9. Perfect. Yeah.
So it's going to be 1 second. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 7. Negative 7. Negative 7.
Negative 7. Perfect. So we have 7x equal to negative 7. What's x equal to?
X will be equal to x is going to be negative 1.
Perfect. X equals minus 1. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one here was minus 1. That was quite a tricky one, so well done on that one. Okay, so next one we have is 1/3 x minus 8 equals 3x.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1/3 x minus 8 is equal to 3x. Okay.
So what's going to happen is 1x. So what we're going to do is the 3x and the 1 over 3x, we're going to add.
So before we add, why is it a little bit tricky to add these two together?
Because this is a fraction.
Yeah, because there's a fraction. And what trick can we use to get rid of the fraction?
We can multiply
Yeah, what can we multiply everything through by?
by 3x.
Not by 3x.
8.
So remember, it's just the third. So it's a third times x. So to get a third equal to 1, we do 1/3
20.
times 3. So we can multiply through everything by 3, and that will help get rid of that third for us.
So 20. So 3x multiplied by is 6x.
Not 6x.
9x.
Yeah, 9x this side. And then 1/3 x times 3x. What's 1/3 x times 3x? Oh, sorry. 1/3 x times 3.
Look at 1 over 9. Or we're gonna do it in the fractions.
No. So what we have is we have 1/3 times x. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get rid of this fraction. So to make the equation a little bit easier to solve, we try and get rid of all the fractions.
Okay.
So we have 1/3 x, and we multiply 1/3 x by 3.
1 over.
So have a think. So 1/3 times x times 3. So
We're gonna multiply it by the. Oh no! It's gonna be the same because. Yeah, it's just 1/3.
yeah. So remember that this thing here is actually the same as x over 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have is that if we're dividing, let's say we're dividing x by 3, it's the same as multiplying something by a third, right? So think about what both of these two things mean. So first one, we're dividing something into 3. We're sharing it between 3 people.
Yeah.
The second one, we're finding a third. So we're cutting it again. We're cutting it into 3 as well. So they actually both give us exactly the same value. So we can kind of change around which one we use. In this case, we have 1/3 times x times 3. So it's the same as what we've seen before, which is x divided by 3 times by 3. That's just going to give us x on its own. Okay, so now we have x on its own, so we still have one more term to do. So what about minus 8? What's the minus 8 going to become?
Add 8.
Not add 8. So we multiplied everything else through by 3. What should we do with the 8?
Multiply it by 3.
Yeah, exactly right. So because we're multiplying the rest of the equation, we need to make sure we multiply in each term. So the 8 hasn't been multiplied by 3 yet.
24, negative 24.
Yeah, negative 24. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we can maybe do the steps that you're saying.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, how can we subtract that if it's 24 doesn't have an x?
So we can't do the 24. What about this guy here?
We can do the 9x. So x add 9x.
So maybe we could go for the smaller value of x. So this guy here, how many x's have we got here?
1.
1. So let's move over the 1x.
Yeah. To the 9x.
Yeah.
Which is
Remember,
10x.
we always have an invisible 1 in
10x.
front of it. Not 10x, so this is plus 1x. So if we're moving it over, what do we need to do?
Subtract.
Yeah, perfect. Subtract x.
8x.
Yeah. Okay, so we're subtracting x on both sides, so we get 8x, perfect. And this one stays as minus 24, because the x is gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so now our last step, we need to solve this. So we have 8x equal to minus 24. What does that give us? What's x going to be?
8x equals minus 3x.
Minus 3x, perfect. So the calculation here is minus 24 divided by 8, which gives us minus 3.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now let's go back and write that in here. So we have minus 3 on this one here.
Yes.
So this one we kind of know the answer because you can work it out from the pairs. But let's just make sure we have a go at doing this one as well, just for practice.
Yeah.
So minus x plus 5 equals 3, 1 minus x. So minus x plus 5 equals 3, 1 minus x. Okay. Okay, so where do we start with this one? What's the first thing we should do?
Okay, so we're gonna the crab claw, the claw. So
Yeah, perfect. Brackets first.
3 multiplied by 1 is 3,
Mm-hmm.
and x multiplied by 3 is 3x.
So is it plus 3x or minus 3x?
Minus 3x.
Yeah, minus 3x, because we have positive 3 times negative x. Okay, so that's going to be equal to minus x plus 5. So the other side hasn't changed when we do the crab claw. What next? What do we do next?
What we're gonna do now is we're gonna subtract x, negative x by 3x. It's gonna be 4x, negative 4x.
Not quite.
Add because it's the opposite.
Yes. So this guy here is minus x. So if we move him over, we want to do plus x.
It's gonna be negative
Okay.
2x.
So what does our next line in the working out look like?
Negative 3x.
So go from left-hand side to right-hand side. Just tell me everything that I should write.
So negative 3x.
So
Subtract
negative 3.
x. Negative x. How is it?
Yes. So which one? So let's start off deciding which one are we going to move? Are we going to move minus x or minus 3x? Which one do you want to
Minus
move?
x.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move this guy here.
Yeah. Okay.
And if we're moving him, what should we add on both sides?
Gonna add 1x.
Yeah. Perfect. We just add 1x on both sides.
So
So
that's
we're adding x on both sides. Okay. So on the left-hand side, what have we got left once we've added x to everything?
0. Left is gonna be 0.
So this guy here is going to be 0. What about the 5?
5 is gonna be. How do you do 5?
So what happens to the 5? Have we changed anything about the 5?
Subtract.
Not subtract. So let's do that in the next step. But just in this step here, have you done anything?
No, we need to. That's gonna be 4x. Negative 4. No, negative 2x.
So this is correct. So this plus x minus x is equal to 0. So if those two are equal to 0, what's 0 plus 5 going to give us?
0 plus 5, just 5.
Yeah, it's just 5. So what we're actually doing here in these kind of questions is we're actually saying these guys cancel out. We have positive and negative here. That gives us 0. And then we say what's left. So that part there